So, I mean, we just had CNN fire Chris Cuomo.
Which was stunning, frankly.
Which honestly, because I mean, he's number one spot.
Yeah.
$6 million salary, reportedly.
I mean, yeah, he's an absolute star for CNN, but they finally fired him. So at first they put him like on a sort of probation when they were looking into everything about him helping his brother behind the scenes. You know, it's a little sketchy.
Yeah. And
then the allegations of sexual harassment came out and they were like, okay, we're done. We're not messing with this anymore. And so he's gone. He's gone. And everyone's like, oh my goodness. And I'm like, are you really that surprised? I don't understand why anyone is really surprised that he is sexually harassing people and helping his brother behind the scenes.
Right.
I think it's one of the most predictable things that has ever happened. So I'm like, well, but I think there is a good question behind kind of the journalistic ethics of should he be helping Andrew behind the scenes? You know, kind of the old family idea.
Yeah, he cited that directly.
Exactly.
And specifically, what he's accused of doing is he was reaching out to all kinds of media contacts and trying to find information about the alleged victims of his brother.
Right. So he was trying to track down the victims. He was looking into Ronan Farrow's reporting to see when that was going to come out.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Ronan Farrow, whatever he writes, everyone listens to since he exposed Harvey Weinstein.
Yes.
And so he's kind of doing all this behind the scenes. He's talking to Cuomo's aides. You know, there's the long series of texts going back and forth, and he's like rewriting press releases for his brother. And so I think it is a question kind of worth asking, like, as journalists, like, when do you cross that line from I'm a journalist to I'm acting in a different capacity, and how do you maintain journalistic neutrality?
Yeah, I mean, I think those worlds have to be completely separate. Your personal, your family, and then your professional. Right. I was really surprised when Tucker Carlson came out and he said, "Look, I'd do the same thing if I had family in trouble and I could use my resources to help them," which makes me kind of think that Tucker is preparing for something.
I don't like Tucker.
Possibly.
But let me propose this alternative to you. So if the priority was protecting his brother above his job, why doesn't he just take a leave of absence? Why doesn't he just step away from CNN?
CNN did offer him a leave
and
of
say,
absence.
hey,
oh, really?
I'm going to completely focus on this family crisis. I don't want this whole conflict of interest to be hanging over it, or me to still be soapboxing on my primetime slot about where my brother is or is not.
Yeah.
So he could have just stepped aside, maybe not taken his salary for that short period, but he wanted to have his cake and eat it too, where he could protect his brother, you know, behind the scenes, and he could still leverage his power and his platform to position both of them in the way that was favorable.
Yeah. I think what really gets all this, I'm like, he could have easily taken a leave of absence. And he could have just gone whole hog and gone and helped Andrew and all of his administration. Like, that would have been fine. People probably would have understood. I mean, is it going to make people like the Cuomos anymore? Probably not. But it won't damage them.
He's got plenty of money. Like, he doesn't need to go to work.
Why do you think he didn't take the leave of absence?
I have no
hard
clue.
to say.
With everything that he had coming up against him, because I mean, he had to have known about the sexual assault allegations coming up.
Yeah. Well, they came up a while ago, and then this is the same accuser that's just explaining?
There's two.
There's
another one now who's anonymous.
Okay,
so the first one was an old ABC executive who, you know, talked about him grabbing her inappropriately. But like, she kind of explained that it wasn't necessarily like, I am accusing him, I want to take him to court.
Right.
But now there is another one who, when he came out and was talking all about, you know, I don't approve of sexual harassment in any of this. She's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I don't understand why he didn't just step away from CNN for a little while.
I think these people are just breathtakingly arrogant, where they're like, I have all the power and connections and favors to insulate me from the regular rigors of my industry, of society. So when they get called on it, they're like stunned because they think that they've basically built this castle with a moat filled with alligators, and they're amazed that anybody can access them.
Right.
But the bottom line is, it's just in general in our society today, the truth comes out. You can try and sit on it, and you might be able to do that for a while. But these guys engaged, as far as we know, in some pretty horrible behavior, and looks like the chickens have come home to roost.
Well, and, you know, he was leading the charge of, you know, this PC culture, there's no such thing as forgiveness anymore. Once you've done something, you're out. So it's just, you know, chickens coming home to roost.
Yeah, right. When you hop on the Me Too bandwagon so hard, it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. There's
you dug yourself a hole you can't get out of.
no one can survive that. We've all had things we've done, throughout our lives. In the day and age of social media, there are things in our past, and every single one of us has done like this. It is impossible to be perfect.